Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. You know my guest from such musicals as A Chorus Line, Tuck Everlasting, Finding Neverland, and Hello Dolly. Well, now she is Broadway's newest Nini in the smash hit musical Moulin Rouge. Please say hello to Jessica Lee Goldyn. How are you?
I am so well. How are you?
It is so great to see you. You look sensational.
Thank you.
How are you and where are you?
I am doing wonderfully. I am in Brooklyn, New York at the moment. Yeah, and just in my third week of performances with the show.
Okay, we're going to get into that, but I have to ask you, have you been able to put the past 2 years and so into some kind of perspective before you went back to work?
Absolutely. I feel like as so many of us experienced, it kind of put everything into perspective. And really felt like it brought me back to my roots of why I love to do what I do. And I was dancing throughout, tried to dance as much as I could, dancing in my living room. Anytime someone asked me to teach, I said yes, because I'd love to pass it on as well. But yeah, it really drove home how much I love to be on stage. And so experiencing that for the first time 3 weeks ago was a rush, just an emotional rush.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, did you audition for the original Broadway production of Moulin Rouge?
I did. I did, along with every other dancer in New York. Everyone wanted to be a part of it. And I did. I auditioned for the original production. And and then I said yes to any audition that came along after because I was just chomping at the bit. I mean, Alex Timbers, Sonia, I just, it was a dream team and what a dream show. So, yeah,
Did you get cast in the tour first?
I did. So, 2 years ago, they were looking for the national tour and I got cast in it. And then the stars aligned where that I was able to stay here and do it in New York.
Okay, so first of all, how did you keep that news under wrap, knowing that you might be taking the tour out when you
I
can't tell anybody?
It was so hard, and I don't know that I did a very good job at that. I mean, my family and close friends, and it was very exciting news, and it's just such a dream part.
So when you found out they were like, you're not going on tour, you're going to play Nini on Broadway, like, how did you find out? And like, did you scream? Did you have like an out of body experience?
I got the call from my agent, and my boyfriend Blake was in bed, and I just woke him up gently and said, "Just so you know, We knew it was going to be a possibility, and I said, just I'm not going to go on tour." And we just like hugged each other and rolled around on the ground and like did that like giddy excitement moment, and it was amazing. Yeah, it's awesome. My whole family's in Jersey. And so the fact that I can share it with them, some of them wouldn't have been able to come and see it. My dad came and saw it last night, which was so just wonderful to share that with him. So yeah, it's incredible.
Okay, so how magical was that first performance? What do you remember about your first night on stage on Broadway as Nini?
I'm grateful because sometimes when it's the first performance, you remember nothing. And it's like a dream state and it goes by in a flash. For this one, I was super present and I have a lot of very detailed memories. I think you have to be in this show because there's like fireworks set off beside you and, guys lifting you in the air at every second. But I'm grateful that my mom was there. I'm grateful that Blake could be there. And the cast was so supportive. Just at every turn, I felt them surrounding me, being like, "You can do this. We've got this." Yeah, it was a whirlwind. It was a rush. Again, after 2 years of not being on stage, I got choked up at the half-hour call. I got choked up signing into the building. It was really incredible to hear the audience, to have that relationship again. It was a magical night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this is a really challenging role, isn't she? She's a triple threat Nini.
Yes. I think that this is the hardest thing I've done on stage. There's something about the nature of the show and what is required of you energy wise, every single moment that you step out there, it's 110%, which is how I love to perform. And if I leave the stage drenched in sweat, I'm happy. I love to work hard. But also the layer of partnering that is required for Nini is like a whole other thing that is kind of also the first time I've experienced that. And dancing Sonia's brilliant choreography, just it requires everything of you. So yeah, it's a beast.
Okay, so the first time you saw yourself in the mirror, done up as Nini with hair and makeup and corsets and everything else, like what went through your mind?
Oh my gosh, it was just awesome because when you work for that and you dream for that moment and then it happens, it's surreal. And I just feel so comfortable in her skin. It feels like me. And so it's one of those moments where you're just so grateful. The stars have aligned. And yeah, she's so fiery and fierce and fun and sexy. And so it's just a powerful, transformation that happens every night in the mirror. And you just feel badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Robin Herder give you any advice or any insight into Nini, like when you
She
got cast?
is such a dream.
Yeah.
And she gave me all the insights. She at every turn there were texts or I would run into her at the theater and she's like, "What's happening? How are your costumes feeling?" Because that's a whole other thing. Wearing a corset and dancing it in a thong is like, what? But she was so great. Like, little things like making sure I had suede shoes in Roxanne, so that the boys can slide me across the stage the way they need to, or just little tidbits about stamina or the body. It's funny, like even 3 weeks in, I'm seeing ailments that she was like, "You're gonna want to, look out for your left knee or look out for your left ankle." And sure enough, here I am feeling those things. But no, she's just such a rock star and such a beautiful support. Yeah, she was amazing.
So I remember talking to her and she was like, the first thing I wanted to do was remove all the boning from my corsets. And I'm sure she told you the same thing,
She
right?
absolutely did. She's like, remove all the ones that you can and make the other ones plastic so that you can bend it all. Yeah.
How do you stay hydrated? Like, what is your like come down, your recuperation period after a show and
Yeah.
after 8 performance week?
Yeah. I'm drinking a lot of Pedialyte. I drink probably a Pedialyte a day. Tons of water, tons of tea. And just, and I'm like, Voltaren and icy hot from the neck down.
Do you have a favorite moment in the show that you do?
Yes, I love doing Bad Romance.
Yeah.
I mean, Ricky is just such a dream to be on stage with, and um, it's just so sexy and fun, and just that moment of it's just a chair, and us, and then it goes into this full blown dance number. It's dreams. It's literally like Broadway dreams to hit that button and hear the audience go crazy. It's a brilliant number, and I love performing it.
Why do you think millions of theater fans have fallen in love with the musical of Moulin Rouge? I mean, they fly in from everywhere to experience it here on Broadway. I mean, why do you think that is?
This is a very special show, and I think it's perfect in that the story is everything. You've got the forbidden love, you've got the sex and fun and the villain and just the heartache of the heartbreak of the ending. And then at the same time, the costumes are perfection. The set, you'll never see anything else like it. You have fireworks, confetti cannons, like it is everything. And I will say, my dad, who is such a support and has seen me in every single show, I think he really comes once to every show, and he's really supportive. He saw it last night, and he said, "I'm going to be seeing this more than once." And I think that tells me everything. It's just you want to experience it again and again because every time you're seeing something else, something new, and you feel like $1 million when you leave the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just what it means to you, like to be back in a theater again, to be around people. This is what you do. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone I've spoken to has been so emotional, and everyone's looking at their careers in such a different way now, and just loving everything. Every moment is a precious moment. And just
Yeah.
like I said, breaking down, just going into the stage door, signing in, things you didn't have for 2 years.
Yes. It's extremely emotional. It's to have the camaraderie again of being with my peers and just those little moments you can't take for granted anymore. The laughs backstage. You know, it's an incredible feeling. And especially for this role to come along at 36 when I can still do a drag split across the stage, you know, and really give it my all. I It is not lost on me. It's a very, very special thing. And I'm so grateful and I'm eating up every single moment of it. And I'm thanking my lucky stars that I get to do this for the next year. It's really, really a magical thing.
Yeah, Broadway debuts are really special. They only happen once. You
Yeah.
made yours as Val in the wonderful revival of A Chorus Line. How magical was that night for you? So I remember talking to
Oh
you that
my
night. That party was so glamorous afterwards.
I remember. That was just surreal. Again, I think there are those moments in your career like this where the stars align and there's a lot of luck happening and you're in the right place at the right time. And that show is the show that made me fall in love with musical theater. I saw it for the first time, I think, when I was 10. And my dream was to play that part, hilarious, at 10, to be singing tits and ass. But I just wanted to play that part. And so for that to have been my Broadway debut, it's still mind blowing to me. And that night, to have the full theater community is what it felt like in the audience, to hear that roar the first time we hit the line and held up our headshots, my whole body went numb. That night I don't remember very much of. There are like little, I just got through it. Um, but extremely emotional and so special. And I don't think I'll ever experience anything like that again. Yeah, just a dream. Dreams come true.
You have quite a history of the Chorus Line because you opened as Val, but you closed as Cassie.
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy too. I remember getting a call like maybe 3 months before the end of the run. And I was in bed, and the producer called me and said, "Would you like to close the show as Cassie?" And again, it was one of those moments like, you must be joking. That is, if there was any other dream than to play Val, it was that. And I was 21 at the time. And so it felt like, all right, kid, you better dance it. And I got to do it for the final week. And so that was crazy because after a 2-year run, you're so tired and your body is ready to be done. And so to kind of find the stamina to complete Music in the Mirror every night and your brain being so on, not that there's an autopilot, but playing Val for 2 years, I knew her inside and out. And suddenly I'm playing Cassie. And so, that was a marathon in itself. And then there's the final performance,
Yeah.
which of course you feel pressure on because it's the last one and everyone came back to see it. And I was so tired. Oh my gosh, my body was done. And it was pure adrenaline. It was pure love and passion. And that again was another moment that I'll never forget and cherish forever.
Because you have quite a history with the Chorus Line. Didn't you even play Mike?
Oh my God. I did. I did. So the theater camp that I went to, the school that I went to in Morristown, New Jersey, they did a chorus line every spring as their like workshop. And so we would audition for a different character every year. And so I started out as like a cut dancer, and then I played Connie and Mike and Val and Cassie and Deanna. I mean, like I played everything that I could. And it really, that was like the main exposure to theater was that school. And I'm so grateful for that. And actually Louis Villabon, who has worked very closely to Bjork Lee, he was teaching jazz classes on Monday nights, and he would help teach the chorus line movement for the show. And he had played Paul everywhere. So, we did very little of the original choreography in the actual show, but he saw potential in me. And so he would pull me aside and privately teach me the original stuff. And so at 13, 14, 15, I was learning, fourth montage and, the Cassie dance. I'm so grateful to him for that. So I was very prepared going into all of the auditions. And I actually got my equity card playing Val, covering Cassie at the Carousel Dinner Theater, which I don't think is there anymore, in Akron, Ohio. And where they ate brownies during Dance 10 Looks 3, eating dessert. Perfect moment for that. And I got to go on once for Cassie. And so yeah, it's been this through line of my life, and it's hard to say no to the show whenever I'm asked to do it, because what it requires of you, in that you are your true self on stage and there's no performance aspect of it, and that I find such an incredible challenge. And now I'm probably right to play the role at 36, and so the fact that I've played it all along, and with my life experience every year, I have something new to say every single time, and it's different every time, and I love that. And so yeah, it's a hard thing to say no to.
I just love it. You played practically every role in the show. You could step into
Every
any
role.
role in the chorus line.
I
I
joke
want
that
to
when my
mention,
body
I know, totally. I want to mention some of your other Broadway shows that you've done. I want to mention Tuck Everlasting. Just tell me what comes to mind, a favorite memory or story.
Terrence Mann
Yeah.
and Lisa Gaida, getting to dance Everything is Golden with them was a dream. Just being in a triangle and flanking Terry, it was magic, just absolute magic. That show was stunning. I loved being in that show and working with Casey Nicola. That was the first time that I had the chance to be in the room with him, and he's just brilliant. And I've had many chances since then, so I'm grateful for that.
Oh. Finding Neverland is another musical you stepped into. Favorite memory of doing that?
Working with Mia.
Oh.
I had a lot of sessions getting to dance the Peter Pan stuff with her. And I just lucked out that she happened to be in town and got to work with me on stage. And that's a dream. That's a dancer's dream, to work with her. And yeah, it was a special show, again, just in where it landed in my life and how it related to my life at that time. It was pretty special. Yeah.
She's really fabulous. I
Oh
spent
my
a lot
gosh.
during Finding Neverland. She's a real sweetheart. She's a hugger. She's a
Yeah.
heart. So great.
Yeah, she really is.
Then, of course, there's Hello, Dolly with Bette Midler.
Yes.
You must have so many incredible memories, just opening night of that show or whatever. Just working on Dolly with Warren Carlyle and Jerry Zaks, and
Yes.
all the Dollies you had.
It was incredible. Each Dolly was so different and so perfect. And Bet is just such a broad, and I just adore her. And then there's just no one better than Bernadette. Yeah, it really was an unbelievable experience. And Donna Murphy, I think, is one of the most, I'm just so in awe of her and her professionalism, and just turning out Tuesdays like she was doing it every single night. Just, yeah, I learned so much from them, and that cast was just packed with star power, from the swings to the stars. It was an unbelievable cast, and so to be surrounded by that every day was just a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a dream role in a classic musical that you would like to take on at some point in your career?
Oh my gosh. I have always wanted to play Roxy in Chicago. That has always been a dream. But I'm also, I think the Gwen Verdon roles are the things that I am drawn to. And I have always been in love with Sweet Charity. I got to do that show and to play that role, and I just love her. And it's such a challenge, and she's on stage the entire time. And so I don't know, you get to experience that journey because you never leave the stage. I just love that show. So I think those are the two that I dream of doing.
You're in great, great hands. I mean, Gwen Verdon was the best. I knew Gwen really well,
Did
and
you?
she was one of the sweetest people in the world. I spent so much time with her, and she used to teach all the charities, all the backstage stuff you have to do, because that's one of the biggest challenges of playing charity. It's not just the onstage stuff;
Mhm.
it's the stuff you have to do backstage, when you can sit for 2 minutes, when
Right.
you can breathe and do everything else.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Now I'm geeking out. That is, I think if I really wish I could have met her. If there was one person that I would want to have met, it's Gwen.
Okay, I know you're only 3 weeks into this incredible run you have in Moulin Rouge. If you could sum up the best part of the experience so far with being a part of Moulin Rouge, Jessica, what is it for you?
Oh gosh, it's tough. Um, I'm so grateful to be able to share it here in New York. I really think that is a dream come true. And I don't know, it just is such an incredible role at an incredible time in my life. And the fact that I can still hit it at 110% the way that I love to do it, it's just a stars aligned moment. I'm so, so grateful.
I love that. When I was doing some research on you, I realized, your sobriety is very important because, this pandemic affected people in many, many different ways. Some people locked themselves away, some people drank, some people couldn't find their way out of stuff. I mean, I gave up drinking red wine 3 years ago only because I wanted to. I love the stuff, but I was like, you know what? You have a drink before you go to a carpet, you have a drink at an open night party, and realize, whatever. And I just thought to
Right.
myself, I think I'm going to stop this. And you've been very vocal about your sobriety. Would you just mention what
Yeah.
it's meant to you?
Yeah. So I'm 9 years sober now. And it changed everything when I made that decision. And I have a life now that I could have only have dreamt of before. And, I too, it was like for anything, to celebrate if I'm feeling down, if I'm feeling bored after a show, whatever it is. And not kind of not wanting to feel. It's a wonderful way to numb and not be fully present. And so now I am fully present and I get to experience all of that, everything. I get to feel all of it. And I think that's also the greatest accomplishment. I keep my coins in a frame in the corner of my dressing room, and I think maybe that's the most magical moment, and I'm going to get emotional. But getting to live your dream and do it, I feel like I'm doing it the right way and being the truest to myself. And so getting to see that every night before I head down to the stage, it's like, okay, I'm doing it, and living in my truth. And it's an awesome, awesome thing. I love to be vocal about it, because I think it's important. I got sober at 27, and if I can help someone get sober sooner than I did, or experience this feeling, then that's just one person. If I can help just one person, that's awesome, and that's everything. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That means a lot. A lot of people have shared a lot of these kind of things during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that. Well, we're out of time. So once again, Jessica is Broadway's newest Nini in the hit musical Moulin Rouge. Jessica, thank you for dropping by today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Like I said, I have known you since your Broadway debut. I remember everything about being in the rehearsal room and the party that night. You all looked so glamorous going at your party. And I've been, along the lines with you with all your other performances on Broadway. So congratulations, and we'll see you at the theater. Take care.
Why else live if not for love?
I'm an artist.
No matter your sin, you're welcome. Glory! No matter your desire, you're welcome.
It's time, my dear, to dress the part.